So in the winter, everybody gets vitamin D.
Are you excited? This weekend is the last weekend before Christmas. I'm not ready. Thank God. All I have to say is thank God for Amazon.
No pun intended.
Thank God for Amazon. I have not set foot in a store. Okay. So welcome to our team meeting, December 13th. And we'd like to welcome some new associates that I don't think we officially welcomed. So Tammy and Carlos Albello, they are new and excited to be here. I know, right? They're the A team. Yeah, so they're the A team. Oh, all these young people don't know what the A team is.
Pity the fool.
Pity the fool. A pity the fool who doesn't know who Mr. T is.
Amen.
Okay. So, all right, let's talk about recognition here because it's awesome. Okay, so here's your KW award levels. So we will be good. Okay, so award level bronze is, no, I'm not going to read them all. You can read. Hopefully you can read. You guys are writing contracts. I don't know. Okay, so top 15 in the GCI of the month of November. Alex Dinamarca, Al Frankenberger, Tiffany Ignis, Dan Callis, James Krickeberg, J.M. Lisa Krickeberg, Terry Lewis, Ed Murphy, Sarah Pat, Brad Parent, Jeremy and Scott, Dan Schmidt, Joe and Jeff, Mark and Sheila, and Tracy Young. Congratulations. I said everyone's last name right. Woo! Winning. $1 million month in November. The Krickeberg Group, Sarah Pat, the Schmidt Group, Carrie Douglas, Lifetime Realty Group, Simplified Realty Group, Alliance Real Estate Team, Amy Holt, Callis Real Estate, Chris Ruskowitz, and Alex Dinamarca. Okay. See, we're still kicking it. Top closed volume of November, Sarah Papp, Carrie Douglas, Amy Holt, Chris Ruskowitz, Alex Dinamarca, Terry Lewis, Ed Murphy, and Al Frankenberger. Congratulations. For teams, the Schmidt Group, Reliance Real Estate Team, Callis Real Estate, and Team Smith. Congratulations. For our groups, we've got the Krickeberg Group, Lifetime Realty Group, Simplified Realty Group, and MindRight. And then top closed volume year to date. Look at all these people. Do you want me to read them all?
Yeah.
Okay. Sarah Path, Terry Lewis, Allison Maris, Ben Murphy, Carrie Douglas, Chris Ruskowitz, Dana Lazich, Alex Dinamarca, Peter Promisberger, Steph Sosa, Angelique Cruz, Shina Yang, Catherine Gorel, Nicole Losaki, Mandy Miller, Danielle Kenny, Bill Hansen, Amy Holt, Andrew Johnson, Al Frankenberger, Amy Berger, and Sue Arnold. For team's top close volume, we have the Reliance Real Estate Team, Team Engels, the Schmidt Group, Team Packard, the Baumgartner Group, 1120 Real Estate, Team Smith, Callis Real Estate, the Everett Group, and the Father-Daughter Team. And then top close volume for groups, the Krickeberg Group, Lifetime Realty Group, MindRight Realty Group, Simplified Realty Group, and Level Up. I'm so curious as who's gonna win the year. Little competition.
Jeremy, sell some of your property.
Quick, sell it. Okay. Top close unit year to date, Sarah Papp, Terry Lewis, and Allison Maris. For teams, Reliance Real Estate Team, Team Angles, and Team Packard. And for groups, we've got the Krickeberg Group, Lifetime Realty Group, and Mindright Realty Group. Ooh. And now we're starting a new trend called Tech Tuesday.
Whoa.
And so we have
Taco Rock.
we have Lindsay that's going to talk. So hi, Lindsay.
Hey, Kelly, can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Woohoo. All right. So I don't know if Charlie has been kind of continuing on with a theme and talking to you guys about this, but for us, he's been talking a lot about 2xing your database and 3xing your activities. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about how you can 2x your database and close more deals in 2023. So next slide, Kelly. So just kind of going back to the foundation of your database, and there's 4 laws of a database. You have to organize and you have to build it. You have to feed it every day, communicate with your database in a systematic way, which is where those smart plans come into play, and you have to service those leads that come your way. So next slide, KW actually recently did they looked into basically the correlation between the number of command contacts and GCI. And so that's where you're seeing the graph. And so you've got the number of agents on the left-hand side, the number of contacts in command at the bottom, and then GCI over on the right-hand side. And you can see on the graph, basically, if you have 201 or more contacts, that's really going to increase your GCI. And so they actually found a few statistics when they gathered this data that I thought was really interesting. And so 87% of agents who left Keller Williams or real estate in the last 12 months, those agents had less than 200 contacts in their database. On average, agents with 201 plus contacts have sold 8.1 listings versus 2.7 of those with less than 200 contacts. The best piece of information they found was that if you have more than 201 contacts in your database, you are 3 times more likely to hit your cap. So 3 times more likely, which is huge. So you guys, we are going into the holidays. I'm sure business may be slowing down a bit. If you could do one thing between now and the end of the year, it's making sure that you have at least 201 contacts in your database. So whether you have to hit that number or maybe you just need to bulk that database up a bit, make sure you have phone numbers, email addresses, mailing addresses for every single one of your contacts in your database, because as this graph shows, it's worth it. You are going to make more money next year in 2023 if you have over 200 contacts in your database. And so the question is now, how do you get 200 contacts in your database? Well, Kelly, next slide. Marty Miller actually just released a video. If anyone's following the KW Command Facebook pages, any of those groups online, you may have seen this slide. So what he put together was a very short, like 18-minute video around best practices on how to hit that 201 contacts. So downloading contacts from your phone, getting contact information from the MLS tax records, utilizing your social media accounts to get those contacts. And so you can either go to club201plus.com to access that video, or you can scan the QR code and it's going to take you directly to that video as well. So again, it's just some really great content. As you have some downtime, really focus on your database, get them into command, and then you're able to start are focusing on 3Xing those activities using smart plans, those marketing drip campaigns, and all ways in which you can build up your business for 2023.
Cool. Does anyone have questions for Lindsay? Nope. Remember, her and Kathleen will be here on Wednesdays, probably switching off, right? You two?
I think Kathleen will be every Wednesday, but I'm also available as a resource if anyone has questions or training wise, but always available and happy to help.
Okay. So every Wednesday, Kathleen will be here in our office. So if you have any command questions or need training one-on-one, you can always contact her and set something up. All right. Well, thanks, Lindsay.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. And now we have Dawn with our compliance update.
Right. First of all, thank you. Show of hands, who's renewed their license? Good. Okay. Awesome. You have a day. So this is your day. Today is the day to do it. So if you have not done it yet, leave this meeting. You're going to go log on and do that. So not talking to anybody in this room, but anybody at home. So I don't have a ton to share today. We have had a couple of questions about what happens after closing if your client has a problem though. So you've had closing and there's kind of two scenarios that might come up. Let's say that they are unhappy. They're thinking that the seller was trying to hide something from them. It's like, oh, they move in and they discover that it was done not correctly, and they think, oh, the seller tried to hide this from us, that they may not have disclosed something that they know about. And the other time that someone may reach out to you after closing is that if they have a dispute with you yourself. So there's two different scenarios. And you have two different things that you should do as a licensed agent based on that. So when someone's reaching out after closing for an issue between a buyer and a seller, it's usually about non-disclosure. And so the buyer is thinking that the seller knew about something and that they did not mention them in the condition report. They didn't come up in inspection. And the buyer's agent, you're usually going to be the first one that they call because you've been their go-to person the whole time throughout that transaction. However, you have no responsibility in that scenario to help them or give them advice. And in fact, if you are getting involved at that point, it's going to be unauthorized practice of law, and it's exposing you and the broker to potential problems. So if there are post-closing issues, the party should be encouraged to work together. So buyer and seller should be working together, or they should be reaching out to a lawyer to take care of that. There are resources out there if they need attorney's information. If you don't know somebody, I know I've seen it a lot in the Facebook group asking who's a good real estate attorney. If you don't know, you can always call compliance as well. We can help direct you in the right direction. The other thing, so if it's a post-closing issue between a consumer and the broker, and they have an issue with something that happened during the transaction, sometimes it may be issues of misrepresentation. They may feel that something was concealed or failure to disclose if something was stated incorrectly or inaccurate statements. So those things, if something like that comes up, if you get a letter from an attorney, you should reach out to compliance right away. So call the number, reach out to me or Sarah, and we'll help guide you through that. Don't worry about it until it happens, and then reach out to us and we'll help guide you through that. But the big thing to know is just if there is something that the buyer has a question about after closing and it's not related to something with the seller, that's not your responsibility. Yeah.
Should we be facilitating information like this out?
Yeah, definitely. Yes. Definitely. Yeah. There were a couple of questions with, should we be signing an amendment after closing? And that's not necessary, but put the two people in contact. All right. Any other questions?
Nope.
All right.
Talk about
Thanks,
this.
Dawn.
Talk about that.
Oh yeah, and I'm seeing that skills training after this today. So 12-week year. If you've had I don't know if anybody's read the book. It's kind of dry, but you don't have to read the book. You can come to the skills training today instead. So Don't read.
Don't read, just show up. Because we're not really reading things. And also, we have our last part 3 of our business planning workshop is time blocking. So that will follow right through from the 12-week year to business planning. Also, if you go into the one spot for resources, there is the 2022 business planning workshop folder that everyone has access to. You will get all of Chris's sheets that she has laid out for all the trainings that she did. So, and also the YouTube links for each class, because we did record them and we downloaded them, you can access those. So if you weren't able to make it on Friday, you can always watch those videos again and then learn how to create your business plan if you don't already have that done. So don't forget Friday, we're also having part 3 at 10 a.m. here. All right, so now we have A+ coming up to talk about some great things.
Morning, everybody. 2-1 buy downs have become kind of a big thing in the marketplace, and a lot of people are talking about 2-1 buy downs. A lot of builders are using them right now, and we've spearheaded that with Belinsky and Stepping Stone Homes. So if you do run into situations like that, also if you have someone who is thinking about doing a 2-1 buy down instead of doing a price reduction, we have come up with a calculator that actually does that for you. Well, okay, there it goes. It's a 2-1 buy down calculator. It's the simplest to use. We have it. We've already developed it, and we will share it with you. Just email myself or Gustavo, and we'll forward you a copy of this. It's really simple to use. You just put the loan amount in and the interest rate, and it will tell the seller exactly what the cost is to do that buy down. And this calculator is set to do a 3-2-1 buy down, a 2-1 buy down, a 1-1 buy down, but they can buy it down for 2 years at 1% for each of the years, or even just a 1-0 buy down where they just do it for 1 year, and then that's it, and they get the benefit of that. And the costs can vary pretty dramatically from 4.4% on a 3-2-1 buy down. Now, 3-2-1 buy down. So let's say right now today we're at 6.25%. Their start rate would be at 3.25%, then 4.25%. And 5.25%, and then the 4th year would go to 6.25% with the current market. So it's a great way for a seller to maybe look at selling their house without doing a price reduction. And we've seen that work with a lot of people are trying to do that. And the calculator lets you, so if you're sitting there talking to your client and the seller has a question, well, what will this really cost me? You can just put it in and the page will calculate everything out for a 3-2-1, a 2-2, a 1-1, or a 0-1. And they can see exactly what that breakdown is. And our calculator is really accurate, and it gives you the exact cost of that. And then when you're working with us on those deals, talk to us and we can say, okay, based on their down payment, this is what that amount's going to be. And then we can have you write a simple amendment to the contract. What we've been doing in the past is, since we don't know what you don't know all the time, what the final purchase price is going to be, or what their final loan amount will be, we just do a seller will contribute to a 2-1 buy down or a 3-2-1 buy down cost. And then we'll get to those numbers later on down the road, so they're exact right to the penny. Because we're not trying to make any money. We're covering some of the costs on 3-2-1 buy downs that the backside gets hit with, that we get charged, and we're covering those costs for you guys as well.
For the new agents, like the brand new agents, could you just give like a quick summary of what an actual buy down is? Like, what's the definition?
So basically, the 2-1 buy down has been the most popular. It's about 3% of the total cost of the financed amount, not the listing or the purchase price. So it's of the loan amount. So that's a reasonable amount. A lot of people are looking to do that because it makes sense. So the first year there, it's okay. So the loan we do is at 6.25%. So for the first year, they're at 4.25%. Okay. their payment can be several $100s cheaper. In this case, on the 321 buy down, the payment subsidy is $541 a month for 1 month. That's every month for those 12 months. So it's a pretty substantial credit that the buyer is receiving. And that helps them keep their payment down. Now, the other thing too is there's nothing that says that people can't refinance through this 321 buy down. So if they decide that in 6 months or 8 months or a year that it makes sense to refinance, they don't lose that money the seller paid. And that's a big advantage to doing a rate buy down. When you do a rate buy down, when a buyer buys down their interest rate, that money is gone the day of closing. That money disappears. They bought down their rate. If they're in the loan for a year or they're in the loan for 15 years, that money's gone. With this buy down program, that money is put into trust, an escrow account, let's say. And that money is used every single month. If the money is not used at the time the loan is paid off, then they get credited back that amount. Say it's $13,000 in this 321 buy down, and there's $12,000 or $8,000 left in the account. That actually goes to pay down their mortgage. Okay, so there's another big reason for buyers to want to take advantage of this, and they don't lose the money. It's not like a closing cost credit that's gone at closing. Okay, so every year or every month that they make these on this buy down payment, it makes the payments more affordable for buyers, and it seems to really make them feel much more favorably about this rate environment. Fortunately, we're not in the 7.25 range where we were a few months ago, thank God. And we're now getting closer to that 6.25 amount. But if you can get a buyer in at 4.25 for the first year, when they've got all their expenses, they're doing their remodeling or they're doing painting or they're buying furniture or whatever, that 2% is a pretty big deal. It's $371 a month on just a $300,000 loan amount. So that can really help your buyers. And it helps the sellers because now they're selling their house and they're not dropping. And then one of the other programs, it's I think on the second. To do the 2-1 buy down was a buy down on the $300,000 loan amount was $6,700. Instead of dropping 10 grand on their purchase price, they're only dropping 6,700. And that's if the loan amount's at 300. If the buyers are putting more money down, it's going to cost them even less.
Their minimum down payment?
No, they can do 5%. They can do 3. If they qualify for 3, they can do 3. So there's no, it's going to cost the seller more. So when you look at your offer to purchase and you're dealing with your seller, say, hey, the buyers are only putting 3% down. This calculator will tell you what that amount will be. And so when they're looking, accepting the offer to purchase, if you have questions on these buy downs, because I know a lot of people are talking about them, and you may see them coming in offers that you're writing, hey, is the seller interested in doing a buy down or something like that? Reach out to us. Gustavo and I are always available by phone. You can call us anytime. And we can get a copy of this calculator. We can give you answers. We can run the numbers for you. We'll make sure that they're all exactly right to what you need to be, so that when you're drafting the amendments, that you'll have the right numbers for you and your seller. Any questions on that? Because this is getting to be something that's coming up a lot. Feel free to reach out to myself, Gustavo, on these. And if you'd like a copy of it, just email us and we'll forward you a copy of it. All right. Thanks, guys.
All right, next we have Lynn from Focus Title. Did anybody go to Title 101 yesterday? Nice. We're discussing doing that once a quarter in the contract training classes so that you guys can be kept up to speed on title and the new people can attend it.
Yep. So I wanted to take a few minutes to talk to everybody today because we have some new options as far as pre-signing sellers. So this would pertain to your listing, more specifically pertaining to sellers that are out of state. We now finally offer an online signing option for sellers that are out of state. It's not going to be how do I word this? If your seller is not techie, it may not be the easiest option. We might seek an alternative option. So we do have an online service, online notary service that we offer through Nightberry Title, through our parent company, Nightberry Title. Your seller has to have a computer that has a microphone, camera, that type of thing, and they also need to have a smartphone. The reason for the smartphone purpose is because they need to copy their ID while they're on the phone with the live notary. You need to actually take a picture of their ID, and that sends it off to a database to confirm that the person that is there matches up. So it's kind of a security feature. But it's a really, really awesome process if you do have somebody that is, you know, sharp and easy. I mean,
But
I'm
somebody
sure
could be helping them.
the notary, I was gonna say, first of all, if I have a 19-year-old that I have, it'll be fine. But if there's somebody to help them, but you are in an online presence, and our staff that is hired specifically to do these notaries all day long does walk them through the process and kind of explain to them what they need to do. So it's a great process that's in place. We also now are going to offer for out-of-state signers, we have a notary service that is nationwide. So if you have a seller that's, you know, in Texas, we can sign them up to have a notary come right to them. So again, another wonderful service that we're offering. So here's the deal, and here's why. There's room for fraud. When we send a package to a seller just to an email, we have no way of knowing that they really have their husband sit down and sign the documents. And so on a title company side, we have to be more mindful of making sure. That's not to say that there may just be a situation where we have no choice. We have to send them a package for them to take to their bank to sign, but it's not going to be our first choice. We're going to push for either the online signing or to have a notary just go to them. The nice part about having a notary go to them, you don't have to do anything except sign. The notary takes care of sending us copies back and sends it back to us. Your people don't have to do any legwork. So that is kind of a nice option. The downfall, it's not free. Nothing's free, right? So if you have an out-of-state seller or even an in-state seller that we're using that Ron signing for, or using that notary service for, you can anticipate an extra $100, which I don't think is awful. I don't think that's awful. So
When you're 30, you can accept.
we, for something like that, we're probably not going to charge much. I probably should.
I'm saying if you were emailing them the documents and they had to go to.
They still had to go hassle to find a notary, right? We would then charge them, right, the extra. So this kind of takes care of all of that. And we just found people were really having a hard time with the notary option. So here's the thing, like, not only finding a notary seems to be impossible these days, but I have buyers that are having a hard time getting wires. They go to a branch and there's no personal banker there to get their wire out. So for us, we're seeing the banks are not providing the same levels of service that they maybe were before. And this is our way to kind of go around that. So I wanted to tell you about that. And the other thing I wanted to mention to you is it's tax time. Property tax bills came out today. So if you have a closing taking place this week or next week, just be aware your closing statements are going to change. Reverse proration is going to happen. You just want to kind of be mindful that you as the agent are aware that numbers could change very quickly at this point. Buyers may have been getting a full credit on property taxes and now they're not. They'll be giving a credit. So it changes numbers quickly. So, all right, that's all I got. Any questions? Okay. Bye.
All right. A little bit more about giving back this holiday season as we're talking about tax bills. So Winter Coat Drive for the whole center the deadline is the 16th. And then we do have our food drive for the New Berlin Food Pantry that is ongoing. So there are boxes downstairs, and if you don't know, ask Brooke. We're also doing an opt-in to KW Cares. This is for the local fund. You will, did we send out that email? It was in the team meeting recap, right? Okay, so we did send out a email that if you'd like to sign up, you can, donate $5 per closing. You can donate $2 per closing. You can donate $100 per closing. And what we're doing with that money is that we're actually putting it into a fund where the ALC will vote on if we're able to spend it for, if somebody needs a bold scholarship. If somebody needs a scholarship to go to make a camp or family reunion, we want to keep these things in-house to help our agents become better agents and just overall more education. So that is what you can sign up for if you're interested in doing that. Oh, the other thing about the ALC, I just want to tell you guys, I did get a question last week after we talked about the ALC, like how much do you have to do in volume to be able to get onto the ALC? So we figured it out, and it's probably around 5 million in volume to be on the ALC for next year. It might be a little lower if everybody, if the projections are correct for where we're going with closings next year, but so probably like 4.85 million in volume if you do want to have that as your goal for next year to get on the ALC. So we have last meeting is next week. So wear your ugly Christmas sweater. We're gonna have a contest. Charlie's gonna take up most of that meeting next week to talk about what the projections are for the next year. We did go to a broker summit and it was a lot of information and it wasn't doom and gloom from the economists. So it's going to be really good, and just focus on first time home buyers. That's going to be up and coming is what the word on the street is. So we're going to have games and contests, and also at later that afternoon, we're having the happy hour, the second annual Krickeberg Holiday Happy Hour from 4 to 6. So bring your favorite beverage, a cocktail, a light snack to share. You can wear your best high heels. So yes.
Don't forget, Focus is giving the team meeting lunch on the 20th as well.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So we have so much food. It's gonna be so good. So this will also, oh, go ahead, Lisa.
Because Lynn's having lunch, which is great, everybody's getting a nice space for basketball. We got one over for, just a little snacks to, nibble on. And we're getting some beverages. If there's something you have surplus of or you'd like to share or whatever, we're gonna be setting up by A+ Mortgage there in that open area, and I'll have some tables set up for like the food, just little snacky things, and maybe just different stations, like a wine station, a bourbon, whatever, and just mingle and enjoy each other. So
Yeah.
I got you.
Oh.
I'm getting cups, ice, and plates, and stuff. So if you just have a bottle of something special or a mix or whatever, make sure whatever you brought. Go back.
Yeah, and also it will be Kim's final team meeting, and her send off is we are going to wrap it into this little gathering. So if you're able to be here, we also are going to honor Reggie for her birthday, and it's a celebration. So make sure you guys show up next week for sure. We have no trainings after so no contract training on the 26th, no homegrown peppers, no team meetings on the 27th. No business skills, and the week of the 23rd to the 27th there will be no mojos. So you can have some rest and recuperation from all that holiday shopping. And then also we have Ignite is coming up. So Ignite will be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. We have, what's really cool about merging with the other offices is that we actually have a lot more education opportunities. So with Ignite, they picked, I believe, 3 or 4 people from each market center to teach the Ignite classes. So we have some of our agents are in here, Angelique, James, and Tina. And then we also have some trainers from Lake Country, some agents from North Shore and Wauwatosa as well. So we're getting a nice mix of everyone so that we can start to become more of a close-knit family. What we are also doing is that if you do have any new agents that you know that would really benefit from this, we would love to invite them as well. And brand new licensees that sign on with us we would really like them to take this because we're not going to do an accelerator class. So just so you guys know, any new licensees that come on, every month there's an accelerator class. It's a 4-day class. It sets up their command. It gives them contract training. They get introduced to title, mortgage, all that jazz. And that is what we're now merging with the other offices as well. So any new licensees that you guys bring in to the business will get that nice startup with their acceleration. So with Ignite, you can register, and I'll move this if you want to. Guess what also is about Ignite? Free. So you get all this training for no cost.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Has it ever been free?
No.
I don't think so.
Nope.
Wow.
What they're gonna do is they're not going to print off binders or anything. We're just gonna give you access to the drive. If you want to print it off, you can print it off. If not, let me see if I know how to. Let me see if I can
You want me to start?
lower. I don't know how to do that. It'll be in the meeting recap too. It's also, the registration link is also on our KWMSW Facebook group. So just scroll down a little bit and you'll find it. All right. And then we also have our annual holiday party coming up Friday, January 20th. This will be at Divine Wine in Oak Creek, and it's open to everybody here +1. So please bring your significant other. We will have heavy appetizers, a cash bar, live music, and 2 drink tickets per person so that you guys can enjoy a drink on us. Michelle, do you want to say anything about the holiday party at all?
I don't think so. I think you set it out. We have
Okay.
a deadline as far as the event, right? Well, I'll just tell
Or the
everybody.
Google form? Is
I
it
don't-
Google? Oh,
I mean, anyway, however you sign up, we would like those RSVPs to be in by January 3rd, so I can get a final count for. So for the holidays, sometimes we forget, but the sooner you can sign up, the better. And just a reminder, this is Divine Wine is, the owner is one of our very own, Andrew Johnson. So, we'll make sure to thank him when we're there for giving us a good deal on this place, so.
so sign up. And then also coming up is family reunion. The dates are February 18th to the 21st in Anaheim, California. So if you, I think it's in the form, like Abby. So
Can you explain what family reunion is?
can anybody, I've never been, so can anybody explain what it is? Yes, Sharice.
So I think somebody touched on this, I think last week or the week before, maybe a little bit. just kind of the difference between family reunion and mega camp. So family reunion is really like, it's like the big international GW conference, right? And the thing that sets it aside the most for mega camp is it feels like college in a sense, right? Like you're picking your courses and then you're going to those courses and you're listening to the professors teach, right? And you can customize it. So if you want to learn specifically about listings, or if you want to learn, you know, whatever, buyers or whatever it is, you just choose from those. And then it's like going to college. Like you go to that class, you take your notes, then you go to the next class, right? And then mega camp is like panelists. So it's panelists of mega teams, mega agents across KW. And Gary and Jay are usually interviewing them like all day long, and it's on different subjects. So if you want to know how to really run an open house at a high level, these 5 agents are going to tell you how to do it because they are already doing it at a high level. If you want to take your social media to the next level, these 6 agents are going to tell you how to do it because they're already doing it, right? So it's just very different in the sense that like mega camp is like one room, you're listening to panelists, you're listening to interviews, and then family reunion, there is some of that. And you break and you go into these breakout sessions and you're basically customizing it to what you want to learn or apply to your business.
Perfect. Thank you.
There you go.
All right. And we are giving you the gift of time today. So
Thank
do
you.
you, do you have any coming soons, excluded listings, or buyer needs for the wrapping up the year? Yes, Tony.
We've got a technically 4 beds. One of them is in the basement, but it does have an egress window conforming. So 4 bed, 2.5 bath ranch, single family home with a 3-car detached garage on almost. Will you stop? On the northwest side of Milwaukee, like 100 and I think it's like 105th and Good Hope. Solid property, off market right now for $269,900. And then we have a 3-bed, 2 full bath, mid-90s ranch in Menominee Falls on almost a ½ acre. And that is right now at $399,900. Both of them will be on the MLS eventually, unless someone has a buyer who is willing to write a strong offer with favorable terms and conditions that I can only communicate to you verbally.
All right, John.
I'm putting out feelers for a single party. We're not excluded, but like big for single party. It's a small ranch, 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, 100,000 square feet. Southwest side of Milwaukee, just south of 60th and Howard. So that there, but not on 60th. They just changed roof, new windows, new hot water heater, like they've done a lot of updates, but there's some things left. Under 200, I'm gonna go see it this weekend. I asked about it, got fires, so I can look. It's Milwaukee. Right on the border. What's the garage? I'll let you know. Okay.
Yeah, my old stomping grounds. Anyone else? Nope, nope. Going once, going twice. Done. Enjoy your week, get your Christmas shopping done, and we'll see you next Tuesday for the parties.
This year, David, like, every year. Yeah.
She's jealous. It's in the early
He
stages.
spends more time in the mirror working on his beard than I do on my hair.
Well, you know, it's in the early stages right now, so it kind of looks a little scraggly, but once it's still out, baby, it's exciting.
It's,
And then the Beard Brothers can
the
exchange.
beard oils come